Well, welcome to tonight's meeting. My name is Councillor Callum Nimmo, and I will be chairing tonight's meeting. If I lose connection, Councillor Wesley Harcourt will take over for me. Before we begin, there's some housekeeping points to cover. So the meeting is being live streamed on YouTube, and by taking part, you are consenting to being recorded. Please can officers introduce themselves before speaking for the first time, and would everyone please use their microphones. So let's proceed to the agenda and now move to item 1 of the agenda, which is apologies for absence, of which there are none. Item number 2 is declarations of interest. So do any members have declaration? Oh, Councillor Stanton.
Chair, not a declaration of interest per se, but just for the sake of transparency, whilst walking past HG Walters on Monday, I did actually pop in just to have a very quick look at the layout. I did make myself known to the staff, but the hearing itself in the case was not discussed.
Thank you, Councillor Stanton. So moving on to item number 3, which is HG Walter, 51 Palliser Road, London, W14 9EB. I'd like to ask everyone participating to introduce yourselves as I call on you. So we should have with us Georgie Green, who is the applicant's company employee.
Yes, so I'm Georgie Green, and I'm Head of Marketing at HG Walter.
Thank you. And we should have either Rob Jeffcoat or Ryan Skidmore, who's the agent for the applicant. Are either one of you here?
Yeah, Ryan here. Yeah, acting as the agent on behalf of HG Walter.
Thank you very much. And we should have Neil Gardiner, who's the interim licensing officer.
Good evening, Chair. Yeah, present.
Thank you. And we should have Gerta Kodilash, who's the council's legal officer.
Good evening, Chair.
Thank you. And observing, we're very delighted to have with us Safa Hussain, who's also from the LBHF legal team.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Great. And objecting, we have Jane Spooner, who's representing Trollope Estates Limited, who are the freeholder of Palliser Court. Do we have Jane with us?
Yes. My full name is, can you hear me? Jane Hadsell Spooner. And yes, I am representing the residents group that's ticked. I'm actually here on behalf of the freeholder of the block of flats called Palliser Court.
Thank you very much.
Is that sufficient? Thank you.
That is very sufficient. So we will hear from so I'll quickly explain the procedure the committee will follow. So we will first of all hear from the licensing officer, who will introduce the application. Then we'll hear from the objector, and lastly, the applicant. So usually each party will address the committee for a maximum of 5 minutes. And following the presentation by all parties, the committee may ask questions of any party or any other person present at the hearing. However, except for committee members, no party has the right to ask questions of any other party at any time during the meeting. And then following the presentation and questioning, each party will be allowed a maximum of 3 minutes to sum up their case or representation. And afterwards, the committee will retire for deliberations, and upon its return, I will announce the committee's decision. So with that out of the way, I'd like to turn to the presenting officer. So can I ask Neil Gardiner to introduce the application this evening? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. On the 12th of September 25, the Licensing Authority received a valid application for the grant of a new premise licence in respect of HG Walter, 51 Palliser Road, London, and was submitted by National Compliance Training on behalf of HG Walter Limited. The application is shown as Appendix 1, which is page 19 in your agenda pack. During the consultation period, further conditions have been agreed with the police, and these are shown as Appendix 2, page 38. A map showing the location of the premises and neighbouring licensed premises can be found at Appendix 3, which is page 41. The licensing team originally received 3 representations from the following groups, and these were 2 local residents and 1 representative of Trollope Estates. These can be seen at Appendix 4, page 47. Licensing conveyed a statement from the applicant to all objectors along with the additional conditions agreed with the police, and these can be seen in Appendix 5, page 54. Chair, in determining the application, the subcommittee must have regard to the representations and take such of the following steps as it considers necessary for the promotion of the licensing objectives. And Chair, the steps available to you tonight are to grant the application in full, grant the application in part, modifying the proposed areas, activities or conditions, or to reject the application, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Neil. And now I would like to turn to the objector. Can I ask Jane Hadsell-Spooner, you have 5 minutes to address the committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, so as I said, I represent the freeholder of the block of flats called Palliser Court. The structure of the company is a company limited by guarantee. The members of the company are the leaseholders. They elect a board of 5 leaseholders, and the board has authorized me to represent its objection to this license. I just briefly want to talk about the licensing officer's report, item 2, which describes the immediate area as a mix of residential and commercial. True, but specifically, this is a small shopping parade of 9 shops only, surrounded by residential areas. And the 9 shops are the dry cleaners, Setty Cafe, Shaw's the estate agent, H.G. Walters the butcher, Laundis a convenience store, Neil's Yard, cheese and wine shop, Morrison's a convenience store, the pharmacy, and Antonia for clothes, and Gales is across the road. I say this because all of these are small shops which basically operate daytime. Laundis closes at 9 or 10, but that's the latest. 3 of them already have off licenses. They're all in a row. That's Laundis, Neil's Yard, and Morrison's. There's no objection from the residents of Palliser Court if H.G. Walters wants to be another off license. Our objection is to the part of the application to be a license for the sale of alcohol consumption on the premises. So I want to be specific about that. We are a little bit confused about the sudden appearance of Neil's Yard with its license, which appears to say that it's also for consumption on the premises. But anyway, they close at 6, and we think they brought the license with them from Covent Garden, which was like that. But in any event, they don't serve food. They don't cook food on the premises, and they're not open past 6. We did, most of us didn't even know about the notice, but we saw it sort of close to the deadline, and there was quite a lot of activity within the block, and many of the residents felt they would be more effective as a group rather than as individual. But as summary, there are 21 flats in the block, and I think about 18 or 17 or 18 were canvassed people who were in residence, and there were no supporters, there were only objections. And of the few who made no contact, it's because they were either out of the country or there's no one actually in the flat. And so we did look at those 4 licensing objectives, and we did put those in our response. You've read that. But I really wanted, then we were notified that by a statement by the applicant further and some further conditions after the consultation had closed. And this actually raised an awful lot more worries because basically it's not true that they would not be operating a dining club or restaurant. It is a commercial, it would be a commercial activity outside the normal operating hours of a butcher. The normal operating hours of the butcher are till 5 or 6 at night, like all the other shops around. The occasional butchery and BBQ classes raised a lot of worries. Some resident popped into the shop and said, "Really, barbecue, where are you going to do it?" And was told by a store manager, "Oh, no, we're not going to do that." And yet it's in the application. The application itself has not been amended. The case officer confirmed that to me. And the regular day-to-day business is what they do as a butcher. What they're proposing is not the regular day-to-day butcher business. It is, in fact, a dining and drinking area. The fact that it says that it's going to be ticketed was news to us, but we felt that ticketing means you get more people in more regularly. And that's how museums get more people in more regularly. And we're also very concerned that we see in the conditions that people can even bring their own bottles of wine to drink. And then there's something about vertical drinking, which really led us to the main thing that we discovered during this post-consultation period was the last page in the application, which is the red ringed area. The red ringed area is in fact in pink.
Thank
and
you.
it's the ground floor. And in summary,
Apologies, it's
we
5
object.
minutes.
We object to, and I do get 2 minutes in summary, don't I?
At
You
the
said
end,
it.
yes. Thank you.
Thank you. But I did want to call attention to that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation. So I would like to now ask the applicant, so either the agent or Ms. Green, to speak and address the committee. You have up to 5 minutes. Thank you.
I'm happy to do a bit of a brief summary to start with, and then maybe get you to add a bit more detail, Georgie. Yeah, brilliant. So yeah, HG Walter, from what I'm aware, has been quite a well-known butchers in the area. So it's been, see, the main reason for the application is to upgrade the service. So it's not going to be a regular event that's going to be occurring all the time. It's meant to be once, twice a month max, from what I've been informed. So, and there's ticketed reasoning, so it's to stop people just attending willy-nilly, and it's limited to around 8 people. So it's, yeah, I mean, the candidates have already been in discussions with like the police, environmental health and licensing have already had any extra conditions agreed to. So it shows their willingness to obviously work towards the licensing objectives. Yeah, I mean, regarding the actual barbecue area, that's probably a bit I'm totally aware of, but that might be best for Georgie.
Yes, I'll jump in there, Ryan. So the barbecue, I think there's been a bit of a confusion because the barbecue class actually refers to preparing cuts that are best for barbecue, and it's something we run through the summer as a way to help people break down a chicken, bone out a lamb shoulder, so that they can then go back and barbecue them. We do have a commercial kitchen sized little green egg in the kitchen that sits right underneath the ventilation, and it's absolutely, everything goes out the vent. So that is the only time that would ever be used. And so that's, I hope, clears up the barbecue element. It would never put anything out on the street or outside. That's just not something we've ever wanted to do or will consider. On it being ticketed, we have a very limited number of people we can have around a butcher's block to eat a meal, and that is 8. So the maximum number of people who will ever attend a class is 8. And we do not plan to expand that. We don't have capacity to do it. We have our shop manager and our chef who conduct the class, and the majority of that class is hands-on butchery learning. So these classes have only ever been designed to be a butchery class with a nice little meal afterwards. A lot of our competitors and butchers shops in London, they also have this offering. So what we're never trying to be a dining club or a restaurant. We only really want to do it once or twice a month, and it's never going to become a huge thing. We're never going to have people cramming people in. It's not in our plan. We want it to be a very kind of quiet, comfortable and intimate event. And yeah, so it's going to be very much sticking to that.
I don't know. I think we've done a couple of applications for HG Walter before as well, across the country. So I know there's been a couple of different stores which have offered a similar service, and we've never had anything come back with problems about the service or anything. Like I say, it's very limited, so it's to make sure it's all kept nice and easy, and obviously won't affect the area.
Yeah, I'd like to also just add that the ticket prices will be pretty high, and we're not, the people who come are there to learn. They're not there to leave drunk and disorderly. It's only just to offer a tiny little offering to complement their meal.
Yeah, I think that's everything covered really on my side.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. So I now turn to committee questions. So can I ask each committee member to ask questions of any party about the application and issues that have been raised in the hearing in relation to the 4 licensing objectives, which, to remind everyone, is number 1, the prevention of crime and disorder, number 2, public safety, number 3, the prevention of public nuisance, and number 4, the protection of children from harm. Councillor Stanton.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you everyone who's spoken so far. I don't have too many questions. A question for, I guess it's either Ryan or Georgie. I got the impression you've already been running classes, is that right? Obviously without alcohol.
Yes, no, we have.
Yeah.
We
okay.
started earlier this year.
Okay. And as part of this, you said you have a kitchen. Is the kitchen only used for the classes?
No, the kitchen is used to prepare our handmade products, which we sell downstairs in the shop counter and in the fridge.
Okay, so typically what would the hours of operation be for the kitchen at present?
It would be from open till close. So around, I think the team would start about just before actually open. And then actually they'd start clean down at about 4:30 on a weekday and 4 on the weekend on Saturday.
Okay, so you have been running some classes, so presumably there has been some food cooking in the evenings.
That's right.
Over the last few months. Okay, fine. Yeah, I think for now that's fine from you. Jane Spooner, if I could ask you a question. Having heard what's already been said, I don't know whether this has reassured you or changed your views on the proposals or not. And if I could just ask you 2 questions, I'll ask them both at the same time. The other question is, given what we've already heard about the use of the kitchen, I was wondering whether that had actually been any sort of inconvenience to yourselves at all. You're muted. Still muted. Can't hear you, I'm afraid, sorry.
Could you please unmute me? Thank you. Sorry, second question was, well, yes, but it seems that this on-site cooking has been during the daytime, during the current normal hours of the butchery, not
no,
late
that's right.
evening.
But well, some of it from what Georgie has said has actually been in the evening. So my question is.
Oh, I didn't know they had a license for that.
So you don't. Somebody on the call from the council will correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't need a license for that if it's before 11 p.m.
Okay.
So I mean, I guess the answer is almost that if you weren't aware of it, you may not. It may not be disturbing you.
There's been no alcohol for sale, has there? For a consumption
No,
on the
I'm talking
premises?
only about the cooking at the moment. My question to you is purely about.
No, but you've also said that she said they've been doing the cooking. I know about they got the cooking, the planning permission a few years ago to have the kitchen up front for cooked food that they sell in the shop. Yes, I know about that. But they've been doing that during the day. Anyway, they haven't been, well, I didn't know they did it in the evening, but they haven't been selling alcohol.
No, okay, no, but that's fine. But I was asking really only about the cooking.
You asked me something else, and I
my other
couldn't
question, my other question is, having heard what the presentation that the applicant has given with regards to the format of the classes and the purpose of the request for the license, has this reassured you at all?
Not really, because in fact, and I did actually have a general talk with the licensing officer about this, not asking for specific advice. Matt Tucker, who pointed me, I said, where would they do this in the butcher? Where? And he said, well, look at the red ringed area in the application, which is both the ground floor and the first floor. And I said, well, that's rather large, isn't it? And he said, well, the license is not given for the number of people. It's given for an activity within the red ringed area. And I said, as late of yesterday, has the application been amended in any way other than the statement, which sounds like mitigations, but PR? And the application has not been amended it still says selling bottles in the shop, offering a butchery and BBQ classes. Included in these classes is a meal with wine served at the end in the red ringed area, which then led us to, I'm not sure, be there why occasional. I mean, occasional could be twice a month or 24 times a year. There could be late night people coming out. Ticketed events means you could do them sequentially. That's what ticketed events are often about. Why not have 2 hours Saturday afternoon and 2 hours Saturday evening? But I'd also like to make the other point that what other butchers are doing elsewhere in the country is not necessarily relevant to here on Palliser Road. And we have our unique particular area of a small parade of shops, basically daytime, no evening activity. We get a little bit of rest from that. And it's very residential around the area. So no, I don't think the position has been cleared. When we saw the additional statements after the consultation closed, none of the residents wanted to withdraw the objection. So we haven't heard anything new in this hearing, other than that they've been doing a bit of cooking in the evening.
Okay, thank you. Ryan, you'll have an opportunity to say something when it comes to your close, but until that point, if you can lower your...
no worries.
Thank you. Neil, do you think, just for the purposes of clarity, you could just explain to the committee the purpose of the red line?
So the red line is exactly what it is. It points out the licensable activity areas. So the application is to license that plan. The plan doesn't license the application.
Okay, thank you. Chair, I think that's all for me for now. I may come back later with some more questions, but I have nothing at this point.
Thank you, Councillor Stanton. Councillor Harcourt. You're on.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, sorry, problems with the mute button as ever. Just a couple of questions again. Following on from the response from the objector, Jane Hadsell-Spooner, she raised the point about sequential events. And you and Georgie Green, Ryan, you both mentioned that it's going to be 8 people and such like. Do you once or twice a month? Just to clarify this, do you have any plans for sequential events, 2 o'clock in the afternoon and then 6 o'clock in the evening and that sort of thing?
No, we don't. We have plans to do 1 or 2 events a month in the evenings.
And you said a maximum of 8 people. Would that be a problem if the maximum number were to be conditioned?
No, not at all. We've only got 8 chairs and enough for 8 spots.
Okay. 2 more quick questions. One of the location of the actual butcher's shop is quite a sensitive area in terms of traffic and such like. What will you be doing in terms of the ticketing events? That will you be making it clear people are not to arrive by car or such like, because that could certainly cause quite a nuisance.
Yes, we'll be encouraging people. I mean, Barons Court tube station's right there, so it should be relatively easy for people to get there by public transport.
And presumably you'll be advising people not to drink and drive.
Yes, of course.
Okay, final question then is, I didn't quite understand what you said about the barbecues. You were talking about, I understood the bit about your doing classes on how to do the best sort of cuts for barbecues, be it lamb and chicken or whatever else it may be. What I didn't get was this bit about where the vent was and the use of that area.
So we have a very small barbecue that a lot of chefs and restaurants have in their internal kitchens in London. And we have that in our kitchen area with right below the ventilation system. Sorry, I might not be getting the terminology right.
So it's more like a charcoal grill, is that right?
Yes.
Right, okay, thank you. That's as much there is from me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Harcourt. Quick question from me to the applicant. Sorry if it's been mentioned before, I might have missed it, but So you do the classes at the moment. Do you do the meal afterwards as well, or the meal's also new?
The meal is not new. The meal, since we started the classes, the meal has been at the end.
Okay, and I guess from that, what time does that tend to wrap up in the evening?
We aim to have everyone out by 9:30.
By 9:30.
Mm.
And considering the other shops nearby close at 9 p.m., I don't think that's too reasonable. Well, yeah, that was just one thing I just wanted to quickly clear up on my end. Just I think that, yeah, but is there any other questions, Councillor Stanton? That's the No, okay, so I think that draws to a conclusion the committee questions. So I'll invite all the parties to sum up as briefly as possible in the following order. So firstly, I'll ask Neil Gardiner, the interim licensing officer, if you would like to sum up.
Thank you, Chair. There's nothing to outline further than what's already been said in the intro. Thank you.
Next, the objector, so Jane Hadsell-Spooner, you have up to 3 minutes to address the committee. Thank you.
I don't think a position has changed. We do object to the sale of alcohol on the premises for consumption on the premises, noting that it can have vertical drinking and bring your own bottles. And it seems to us to be 8 people occasionally twice a month, still 24 times a year, and no other of the shops in the area do that kind of activity. We're also worried about precedent. There's a cafe, Satysi, which has a license for tables out back until 6 p.m. and they respect that. But it is noisy for people at the back at Palliser Court when there are people till 6 o'clock, and then they could actually want to do well what the butcher does, but they've already got a license for tables outside. It's not an area conducive or should be for this kind of evening activity, drinking on the premises, dining, drinking at all. And we just think it's not appropriate for the area, not at all. And it's not like the other examples which they're showing. And there are lots of places you can go to, wine bars on the North End Road, etc. And we'd rather it not be here. Don't have anything more to say.
Thank you. Thank you for summing up. Lastly, can I ask the applicants to summarise? You have up to 3 minutes.
Yeah, I'll start. I think the hearing's probably been quite helpful to actually fully get the understanding across about the nature of what the business is going to be doing. And obviously with the only real additional thing is just to be able to have a glass of wine or something like that with the meal, rather than going in and, you know, if you wanted to do that, you could go to other places. You wouldn't be spending extra money on a ticketed event, which is going to be quite high in demand, I'd imagine. It's just not that sort of thing from what I'm informed of. So yeah, all the conditions have been agreed with everyone. So it's just really down to what members of the local area, really. So we're pretty confident from what we've looked into the application that it shouldn't really cause any problems in that area. But yeah, if you want to add anything extra, Georgie.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. I'll just echo that. It really is just a nice little offering to our very, very occasional butchery classes. I want to really reiterate that we do not want to increase the number of people who attend. We don't have the space for it, and we wanted to keep it something intimate for our customers, to basically teach them how to break down a series of cuts, have a nice evening, and yeah, exactly like Ryan said, have a nice glass of wine to accompany their steak. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's it, really.
Thank you. Well, thank you all. So the committee will now retire to take its decision in a separate meeting room. You're welcome to remain in the meeting to hear the committee's decision. However, this may take some time. If you don't want to wait, a summary decision will be published on the council's website tomorrow morning. And so can I ask members to mute the microphones and move to the Teams meeting room for deliberations? Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'll just wait for everyone to turn their cameras back on, so we have a decision. Okay, so the committee has decided the following. So in the London Borough of Hammersmith and Fulham, it's the summary decision of the licensing subcommittee, otherwise known as the committee, on the 12th of November 2025 in relation to HG Walter 51 Palliser Road, London W14 9EB, otherwise known as the premises. So the committee has considered an application for the grant of a premises license under the Licensing Act 2003 for the sale of alcohol both on and off the premises, otherwise known as the application. In summary, the committee has decided, after taking into account all of the circumstances of this case and the promotion of the 4 licensing objectives, to grant the application in full as follows. Number 1, the sale of alcohol both on and off the premises, Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. till 10 p.m. The hours the premises is open to the public are Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. till 10:30 p.m. And to add to the license all the conditions proposed by the police and agreed by the applicant. So a copy of this committee's full decision, including its reasons and the full text of the conditions added to the license, will be sent to the parties forthwith. If the applicant or any person who has made a relevant representation is unhappy with the decision, they are entitled to appeal to the Magistrates' Court within 21 days from the date of the notification of the full decision, which is the decision of the Licensing Subcommittee on the 12th of November 2025, and a summary decision will be posted on the Council's website tomorrow morning. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us this evening, and yeah, have good evenings.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Chair, I was just going to put a tile up and then maybe everyone return at 7:30. Thank you. Hi, we're just waiting for a few more people to join because this meeting starts at 7:30.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that all the systems worked. And
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, good.
Just a few more minutes. I think we've got most people here now.
Thank you.
That's interesting. Yeah, da 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 dum ba dum ba dum ba dum ba dum.
Okay, that's 7:30, so we'll make a start. So welcome to tonight's licensing subcommittee meeting. My name is Councillor Callum Nimmo, and I will be chairing tonight's meeting. The meeting is being broadcast live on the council's YouTube channel, and if I lose connection, Councillor Wesley Harcourt will take over from me. I would like to remind all participants of a few housekeeping points. Number one, please keep your microphones muted unless you are speaking. Number two, please keep your camera turned on when you speak at the hearing. Please note the chat function has also been disabled, and I ask that members keep their questions and comments brief and to the point. So now move to item number one, which is apologies for absence, of which there are none. Item number two is declarations of interest. So do any members have declarations of interest? No. Perfect. And item number three, so best quality food and wine, 333 to 335 Lily Road, London, SW6 7NR, the review. I would like to ask everyone participating to introduce yourself as I call on you. So we should have with us, first of all, the applicant of the review. So do we have Doug Love with us, who is LBHF's Trading Standards Officer?
Yes, good evening. I'm Doug Love.
Thank you very much. We should also have with us Neil Gardiner, who's the Interim Licensing Officer.
Good evening, everybody present.
Thank you. Gerta Kozilash, who is the Legal Advisor.
Good evening, Chair present.
Thank you. And lastly, we are delighted to be joined by Safa Hussain, who's LBHF's in the legal team, who's observing.
Yes, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. So turning to the licensee, so we have Louis Stelling, who's the solicitor for the applicant.
Good evening, Chair.
Good evening. And we also have Tara Ram Singh, who is the premises license holder. Are you...
I'm present, yeah.
Thank you. And we also have responsible authorities supporting the review. So we should have with us Adrian Overton, who's from the licensing team.
Present, Chair, thank you.
Thank you. And Charlotte Bennett from the Met Police, though I don't see Charlotte in the call at the moment. Neil or Adrian, do we know, is Charlotte still expected to attend?
Chair, I was expecting her. I'm surprised she's not here.
Yeah, I was also expecting her, Chair, as well. And I'm not sure, she hasn't mentioned to us why she's not here.
Okay, well, we won't hear from her for a few presentations. So if it wouldn't mind if someone was to follow up with her just to check, that would be excellent. And we also have a resident supporting the review, which is Mark Patterson, representing himself. Mr. Patterson, are you in the call?
Yes, hi there. Yes, Councillor, I'm present.
Thank you very much. So the procedure, before we consider the application today, may I just confirm that in addition to the main agenda, supplementary agenda A was published on the 11th of November, namely yesterday. So I will quickly explain the procedure that the committee will follow. So we will hear from the following. Number one, the licensing officer will introduce the application. Then the applicant will present the grounds for the review. The responsible authorities will then speak supporting the review, and the resident who is also supporting the review. Then finally, we'll hear from the premises license holders representative. So usually, each party will address the committee for a maximum of 5 minutes, and following the presentation by all parties, the committee may ask questions of any party or any other person present at the hearing. Except committee members, no party has the right to ask questions of any other party at any time during the hearing. Following the presentation and questioning, each party will be allowed a maximum of 3 minutes to sum up their case or representation. The committee will then retire for deliberations, and upon its return, I will announce the committee's decision. And please also keep your remarks as concise as possible. So first of all, turn to the presenting officer. So can I ask Neil Gardiner to introduce the application, please?
Thank you, Chair. On the 1st of August 25, an application for a review of a premise licence under Section 51 of the Licensing Act 2003 was served by the London Borough of Hammersmith and Fulham's Trading Standards team. The review application was made in respect of best quality food and wine 333 to 335 Lily Road, London, licence held by Mr. Tara Ram Singh. The review application is made on the licence objective of the protection of children from harm and can be seen in Appendix 1, which is page 65 of your pack. The current premise licence can be seen in Appendix 2, which is page 78 of the pack. A map showing the location of the premises and neighbouring licensed premises can be found at Appendix 3, which is page 87. During the consultation period, 3 representations were received from the following people and groups. We had 1 individual representative, Metropolitan Police, and the licensing authority as a responsible authority, Appendix 6, page 94, which is now found as Supplementary Agenda A. These comments with the revised version of Trading Standards application and additional supporting evidence were sent to the premise licence holder on the 22nd of September 25 and can be found as Appendix 7, page 95. Chair, in determining this application, the subcommittee must have regard to the representations and take such of the following steps as it considers necessary for the promotion of the licensing objectives. And Chair, the steps available to you tonight are the following options: to take no further action, modify the conditions of the licence, exclude a licensable activity from the scope of the licence, to remove the designated premises supervisor, the DPS, or to suspend the licence. Chair, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that, Neil. I now move to the applicant. So Doug Love from LBHF Trading Standards, you may address the committee for 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I have very little to add to the representation from Trading Standards, which can be found on pages 66 to 77 of the papers. Do please note in that first version where it appears in the papers, there is an incorrect date. The first date under the heading Events Prompting this application on page 69 should read 10/04/25 as it appears in the second version. Other than that, I will merely reaffirm my opinion that revocation of this licence is not only justified, but the appropriate outcome of this hearing. There was nothing known to Trading Standards to indicate that the business was making underage sales of age-restricted goods before 2023. Then, however, we had a couple of complaints alleging sales of vapes and alcohol and suggesting that this was routinely happening, even when the buyers were in school uniform. A test purchase was arranged where a vape was sold to an underage volunteer by the premises licence holder, Mr. Singh. The volunteer was clearly dressed in school uniform, but Mr. Singh claimed not to have noticed. A few months after that, there was a third complaint received, alleging that vodka had been sold to 4 local school children aged 14 to 15, and a second underage sale, this time of 2 cans of premixed spirits, was made by Mr. Singh to a different test purchaser. The business seemed to respond positively to the investigation and to have modified its behaviour, and Mr. Singh was given the benefit of the doubt, and an alternative outcome to this investigation was pursued. In hindsight, it is a matter of regret that Trading Standards did not submit an application to review at this stage, and I apologise for this error. All seemed okay until earlier this year. In April 2025, another complaint was received alleging further underage sales, this time of vapes, and including the allegation that the business was the local go-to place for underage children to buy vapes. An underage test purchase was arranged and resulted in a refusal to sell without ID on that occasion. Before additional underage test purchases could be arranged, another complaint was received. The complainant alleged that regular sales of vapes had been made, and also that a standard bottle of vodka had been sold to a visiting friend's 16-year-old child. There was a statement from this complainant on pages 105 to 107 of the papers, and a representation from the father of the child who purchased the vodka on pages 89 to 92. I understand the latter will be speaking soon, so I will not go into further detail on this. Trading Standards obtained CCTV footage for the times of the recent sales, and there was evidence that the girls were present in the shop on the occasions alleged, and that the premises license holder was the only member of staff in the shop at the time the vodka was allegedly sold. However, no cameras captured the actual transactions, as there was no coverage of the counter area. We were told that these cameras were damaged by rodents chewing the cables. Whether this is true or a convenient excuse to explain the absence of footage that would clearly show illegal transactions is, in my opinion, a moot point. I arranged a test purchase, replicating as far as I could the circumstances of the alleged sale. I enlisted 3 female volunteers, all aged between 16 and 4 months, and I asked them to attempt to buy vapes and vodka. They were successful in making the purchases, this time from the premises license holder's son, who was working at the time. In conclusion, there is clear evidence that the business have sold vapes and alcohol to underage children. 3 failed test purchases in the last 3 years, 5 different complaints in that time, which cannot be proved conclusively, but which provide a compelling indication of persistent wrongdoing. Mr. Singh had an opportunity to protect his business by trading legally and by complying with his license conditions after the 2023 incidents. He did not take it. Instead, the underage sales and breaches of conditions continued. I submit that should the license be allowed to continue, children will not be protected from harm, and I firmly recommend that the license is revoked. I'd be pleased to answer any questions if it would assist the committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Love, for your presentation. Now move to the responsible authorities supporting the review. So firstly, Adrian Overton from the LBHF licensing team. Adrian, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. Just by way of background for this application, the licensing authority has made a representation solely on the basis of past adverse enforcement history. As you'll note from the comments in my representation, and just to summarise the chronology of the case, we first engaged with the licence holder in July 2023 after we were made aware of a complaint via the school's police team, which concerned the alleged sale of alcohol on the 7th of July 2023 to 4 young girls at the premises. A full licensing inspection was subsequently carried out on the 17th of July, and 5 breaches of conditions were found. The breaches concerned an absent DPS, designated premises supervisor, which technically meant that the premises was unable to sell alcohol lawfully. The CCTV system was also found not to be recording for 31 days. The display of beers and ciders over 5.5% was also found, and there were also issues with signage and problems with the refusals book not being properly completed. At this stage, we made the applicant aware that this was an extremely serious matter, and we also made them aware that they must adhere to the terms and conditions of their licence in future. We also asked them for CCTV footage of the incident on the 7th of July 2023. Subsequent to this, on the 20th of July 2023, the licence holder made us aware that this footage that we asked for was not available and that they wouldn't be able to provide that. This was a breach of condition 19 of their licence. Later, on the 24th of August 2023, the police licensing team carried out an inspection of the premises and one breach of condition 25 was identified. A verbal warning was issued for this offence on this particular occasion. Condition 25 concerns the labelling of any alcoholic drinks for sale on the premises. During this inspection and during this meeting, a potential removal of condition 25 was discussed, and the licence holder was told that if they did want to do this, they'd need to apply for a variation of the licence. And as Mr. Love said, most recently in July 2025, a further licensing inspection was carried out and 2 breaches of conditions were identified. This again included a condition relating to the CCTV system, where there was found to be no coverage of the counter area of the premises. There was also no labelling of any of the alcoholic drinks on the premises, contrary to condition 25. In summary, the licensing authority does have concerns, major concerns with the operation and management of this premises, not only as a result of the trading standards review, but also after a previous series of interactions with the premises, which I've outlined in the summer of 2023. We believe that the incidents outlined in this review show that the licence holder has a disregard for any advice or guidance offered by officers and is potentially trying to conceal other offences by not maintaining a fully operational CCTV system. We feel that the irresponsible management of this premises will continue as normal if extra conditions are added to the licence or even if the designated premises supervisor is replaced. So with that in mind, the licensing authority fully supports the revocation of the premises licence on this occasion, as outlined by Mr. Love from the Trading Standards team. And I don't have anything else to add at this stage unless you've got any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adrian. So we don't have Miss Bennett from the Met Police. Can I quickly just check, has she said anything to us or?
Chair, I've tried to chase her up, but I've not had any response. So perhaps she's stuck with other matters because I know she now has to manage a response car as well.
Indeed. Well, if Miss Bennett does arrive for committee questions, I'm sure we can make some time for her. So I now move to the resident supporting the review. So Mr. Patterson, representing himself, you have up to 5 minutes to address the committee.
Thank you, Councillor. Yeah, actually, it's Dr. Patterson. I'm going to speak because really in terms of the impact on my daughter, because she was visiting friends in London at the time. I'm not actually a resident. We were visiting local people. Well, not we, my daughter and her mother and my daughter's brother. Unbeknownst to me, my daughter was visiting with these friends and walked into the store, and we didn't know that she had bought alcohol, and she hid this from us. And she walked out with a bottle of vodka, a 700 milliliter bottle of vodka, and kept it from her mother and myself. When she returned to Edinburgh, which is where we live, she was having access to the bottle, and her mother was away at the time, and so I had to look after the children. And she had taken a lot of alcohol at the time. She has a history of mental health problems, and she looks extremely young for her age. And so while I was preparing a meal, she had been drinking the alcohol, and this is my statement, the representative statement on page 108 and 109. I just want to say that it was an extreme shock when I was calling for her when the meal was ready, my son found my daughter actually lying down, completely unresponsive behind the bed. I had like wandered around trying to find her, and so she was beyond my sight initially. So panic ensued because we didn't know what was going on. We didn't know what had happened. Wasn't aware of the alcohol, so I wasn't aware of what she had taken into her system. And so I feared the worst and thought that it was like a drug overdose or something like that. She'd actually been watching a movie about well, train spotting actually, earlier on that day, which led me to kind of think that put two and two together incorrectly. So I phoned the paramedics and I followed the instructions, and then the paramedics came along and flushed her system and included like IV. And watching this happen, and my son was around at the time, and my wife was away for work purposes, was extremely distressing for everyone involved. And she had to be taken away in an ambulance, and she spent 2 nights away in the hospital. Um, since then, of course, she was able to explain when she was finally responsive, and she talked to my wife, her mother, about this. We suddenly realized what the problem was, and were able to piece together the action. But I'm basically just extremely amazed that somebody who looked so young could go into a store and buy a liter bottle of vodka, despite advice not to from her friends, and actually then undergo this experience, this health type impact as well. So that's a summary of my representation. She's My daughter has yeah, after the 2 nights in the hospital, we've been very watchful over her intake and access to alcohol ever since then. And that's where I'd like to leave my representation.
Thank you, Dr. Patterson, for sharing that. We still don't have Ms. Bennett, so I'd like to move on to the licensee. So we have Louis Stelling and Tara Ram Singh, who's the premises license holder. So because of the number of other representations, you have 20 minutes to address the committee. Thank you.
Chair, many thanks. Good evening, everybody. I certainly won't take 20 minutes. I know I've said that previously, but I really won't. The license holder's instructions to myself are that they are well aware of the failures of the premises. They are well aware of the underage sales. They are well aware of the events in 2023. They would like to point out that between those events in 2023 and those events in 2025, there is a period of time where they were operating the premises to a proper standard. However, in this year, they are aware of their failures. They would first and foremost like to apologise to Dr. Patterson, his family, daughter. The failures of their staff in the sale of that item to Dr. Patterson's daughter is unacceptable. They agree with that. They appreciate the severity of that. And in no way, shape, or form could they have imagined that any failure to check ID, to properly challenge a sale, would have led to such a serious incident. And while Dr. Patterson quite obviously may not wish to accept that apology, they extend it anyway, and they hope that his daughter is now certainly better than she was, if not all right. The premises is willing to make serious and substantial changes to its operation. We've heard from the licensing authority and Mr. Love that such changes wouldn't be sufficient. The premises license holder is willing to install a new DPS. He is willing to ensure that all staff undertake personal license courses, and he is willing to ensure that any potential conditions that a licensing authority might wish to implement, he would engage with. there is no way to undo those failures that have been proven. He would like to point out, because it was mentioned both by the licensing authority and Mr. Love in regards to the CCTV, that he does have a pest control company report, independent, that he is happy to send via email to the relevant people. I'm not sure if his licensing agent had sent it previously. I've just been sent a WhatsApp photo of it. But that does explain the issues in regards to the CCTV at one of the time periods. I haven't had a chance to look at it. Sorry, I was more focused on the submissions here now live. But that going forward, they would do everything within their power to ensure that they are compliant with and promote the licensing objectives. While there is some conjecture here in regards to the premises being the place to go for underage individuals to buy vapes or for us, they don't wish to sort of speak on that. They apologise for the failures. They are aware of the failures, and any such conditions that might be suggested, including those I've raised, they would be willing to engage with and implement. And further, should their licence be preserved, they are more than willing to engage with the local community to ensure that they are not, even if it is pure rumour, known as a place that sells underage. Chair, I appreciate you or other councillors might have questions for the licence holder themselves, but unless you have any questions for me, that's the totality of my submission.
Well, thank you, Mr. Stelling, for that. I'm not sure the licence holder wants to come in, but no. Well, we still don't have Charlotte Bennis, unfortunately, so I think we'll have to proceed without representation by her.
Yeah, to interrupt you, but from my point of view, Charlotte Bennett's submissions seem simply to be sort of a statement of fact almost, and it's read in, and we certainly wouldn't have any sort of comment on those particularly, if that's an issue.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. So I now turn to committee questions, and can I ask each member, committee member, to ask questions of any party about the application and the issues that have been raised at the hearing in relation to the 4 licence objectives, which need I remind us are number 1, the prevention of crime and disorder, number 2, public safety, number 3, the prevention of public nuisance, and number 4, the protection of children from harm. So Councillor Stanton's got his hand up.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, everybody who have already spoken. I don't think I have too many questions. More clarification, really. Doug Love, can I ask you a couple of questions, please? Just
yes.
Your report. I took quite a few notes. There are quite a lot of facts and details in your submission, so I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions just so I can understand exactly some of the timescales. Essentially, it seems to me there was a period when test purchases, when the premises owner passed the test purchase by refusing to sell, and then again failed by actually making the sale. The one thing I wasn't sure about is, do we know on each occasion who it was behind the till? Was it, in other words, was it the same individual that refused as the individual that actually sold?
The truth is, I'm not sure, because if there's a refusal, we wouldn't go back into the shop and verify who was behind the counter. It's because I was known in the shop, or I was known to Mr. Singh and the staff in the shop, I wouldn't have been the observing officer, so I have no personal recollection.
Okay. But when the test purchase was successful, in other words, there was no refusal, who was that behind the counter?
So when there was a sale, it was the most recent one was Mr. Singh's son, who's the main person who works in the shop, apart from Mr. Singh himself, I understand.
And the other ones, because I think there were 3 failures, weren't
Yeah, the 2023 failures were both Mr. Singh himself.
Okay. When I think this was yourself rather than licensing. If it was not you, just let me know. Were you looking at that? Was it you that looked at the cameras or the CCTV? Or was that a separate inspection?
We asked for them. I viewed the CCTV footage that was provided. Before that, at an inspection of the shop with a colleague from licensing, we had already been told that some cameras weren't working, and it was the cameras over the counter area, covering the counter area. So I've only been able to view other parts of the shop, which was enough to show that the girls were there on each occasion that they were said to be. And you often saw staff coming into view. Now, the only member of staff I saw when the vodka was sold was Mr. Singh himself. And I understand normally there's only one member of staff in the shop at the time.
And so what is in doubt is not whether there were cameras pointing at the counter. The question is really why they weren't working, but there were actually cameras that, if they were working, would be pointed at the counter.
Yes, there were. We did ask the question as to why some of the other cameras hadn't been repositioned to cover the counter, because that's obviously the place where most attacks or anything, if you have people coming in and trying to steal, that's where that would be. I don't remember getting a very clear answer to that.
Sure. Presumably that covers the door as well, the doorway of the shop and the counter sort of together. So that would capture people coming in and out.
The counter's at the far end of the shop from the door, so you can see people coming in and out, but you can't see the counter area on the footage I was shown. It's, as I say, I think it's a moot point whether it was working or not. I haven't seen the report from the pest control firm that Mr. Stelling referred to, but it was not working, and there seemed to have been nothing done to rectify it. They would have known it wasn't working at the time, I guess, of the sale, but there hadn't been anything done to rectify it in some time after we heard about the sale, when we visited.
Sorry, apologies if I'm looking away. I am listening. I'm also looking through the papers. So,
I'm looking away as well.
No, that's yes. Because I was looking away, I didn't see you. So, can we just confirm? So, the licensing the inspection was carried out by Trading Standards team. So this is from the licensing authority's report. So that was in July 2025.
Yes. So on the 23rd of July, myself and an officer who was working in licensing at the time, Bill Massini, did a joint visit to the shop. That was before the test purchase, but after we'd received the complaint, which was 6 days earlier, we received it.
Okay, fine. Thank you. That's great. I don't think I have any more questions for you. I think you've quite probably answered the questions I had for licensing. So I'm turning now to Mr. Singh or Mr. Stelling, whoever would prefer to answer these few questions. My first question is the CCTV now working?
My instructions, sir, are that it is. I've just received the message. Yes, it is. It's fully operational.
Excellent. I mean, I don't suppose we could ask for proof of that for the committee during the period of the hearing.
I believe it might be very difficult, but yes, yeah, they've committed to the fact that it is. If licensing trading standards or responsible authority were to attend now or tomorrow morning, they would have to live up to the fact that they've submitted that it is.
Presumably, if they did attend tomorrow morning or this evening, they wouldn't find any beers over 25%, and all alcohol would be clearly labelled with. Right, let me get to my next question. My question is this. You said in your representation that, I didn't write the exact words down, that Mr. Singh was very willing to make changes and to accept any additional conditions that the committee might impose. Well, might I ask, what proactively has he already done? What changes have already been made? What conditions would Mr. Singh actually suggest that we add to the licence?
To this date, sir, he has engaged Personal Licence Courses Limited, who are a fairly well-known licensing agent in London and the South East, to undertake staff training. They do a training pack. They do their own refusals log and incident report booklets that are branded and what have you. And the conditions that he would propose immediately, which would be ancillary to those that are already on the licence, are that all staff hold a personal licence. Now, that in and of itself really and simply means that any member of staff who is serving in the premises is trained to the highest level that the licensing authorities can expect. I appreciate that there are supplementary trading standards courses around vapes and other products, but they're not sort of a qualified or institutionalized course, if you like. But he would very, very happily and immediately accept that all any staff hold a personal license. I appreciate that it's already a condition that the DPS be present for alcoholic sales to take place. But outside of that, he would accept that improved CCTV coverage of the premises could be installed. However, would ask for some guidance from the local authority as to which areas they would like or which supplementary CCTV footage would be beneficial to responsible authorities. He might put some cameras in areas that might not be beneficial to a responsible authority. He would be happy to accept those. He would also be happy to change the DPS immediately. And for that DPS, of course, although it's one of the sort of oddities of the Licensing Act in that a DPS can be changed with immediate effect, and then its change be challenged retrospectively, and it's all a bit of it happens already. However, he would be willing to change the DPS. There have been sort of significant references to his son, Satnam Singh, this evening. Satnam Singh is a cousin. He is not Mr. Singh's son. Manpreet Singh is Mr. Singh's son. Manpreet Singh holds a personal license, and the license holder is happy to immediately install Manpreet Singh as the DPS and ensure that he is responsible for day-to-day management of the premises, and he would be the sole person in charge of the premises on a day-to-day basis. It is very difficult for us to suggest a long list of potential conditions outside of those that are already on the license or that we have suggested this evening. And I appreciate that saying we'll accept conditions doesn't quite answer potentially all of your questions. But quite clearly, in order to maintain a license, should conditions be suggested, we reiterate that we are willing to.
Thank you. I think just the comment that was made by the licensing authority, which I'm going to paraphrase because I have too many files open, which is that they don't trust whatever happens that the conditions will be followed. My question is, just to clarify, are you suggesting that Mr. Singh himself will no longer work in the shop?
I'd have to take instruction as to his day-to-day involvement, but Manpreet Singh, who is his son, hasn't worked in the premises since 2024, and he would, as DPS, take over the day-to-day management and licensable activities of
thank you.
to Mr. Taranand Singh's day-to-day involvement, sales, etc. I don't have that instruction immediately, so I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. The reason I ask is it would seem that it's Mr. Taranand Singh who is the individual who has been making the underage sales, and so he appears from the papers to be the issue. So I mean, really, I guess the question I really want to ask is, he seems to have made refusals, but then he didn't. And there seems to be a disconnect between those two activities. And I guess I'm trying to understand why that happened, because it has a bearing on what we do tonight. I don't know whether you can elucidate on that, or if Mr. Singh can.
I've asked a question in regards to his activity on the premises. First and foremost, sir, I've just been told that Taranand Singh would primarily be responsible for organising stock, restocking premises, and attending some sales, but only in the presence of the DPS. As regards to the successful refusals and then the failure of the refusals, I'm given that it's 2023 and now 2025, that would probably, or sorry, no, not probably, most definitely be better answered by Mr. Singh himself. So, Mr. Singh, if you might wish to answer as to your refusals and then non-refusals. If not, so I suppose it's simply a matter of record. Some refusals were successful, others weren't.
Okay.
He might have had an explanation for them contemporaneously. He might not be able to recall that now.
No, okay, no, that's fine. Thank you. I think, Chair, for the moment, that's all the questions that I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Stampton. Councillor Harcourt.
Thank you, Chair. That's actually an area that I want to pursue a little bit more, because I think it is quite important for our committee in terms of any decision we make to know why these failures, as you've reported, happened. You know, there's Mr. Stelling, you've stated quite clearly that Mr. Singh is aware of the failures. He acknowledges the failures. He apologises for the failures. So I'd really need to know why. Were they deliberate? Were they accidental? Didn't he know what he was doing? I don't know. And it's important for us to know that.
Councillor, I've just had a message, and I'm sorry to have to do that. Obviously, I can't be on the telephone while being live to answer your questions. Mr. Singh's English isn't fantastic. He is with his son Manpreet. Mr. Singh submits that he accepts that now, retrospectively, he could and should potentially have challenged more than he did. But he did interact with the customers, and he did feel that at all times that they were over the age that they should have been, and that the failed purchases, as you like, test purchases, were purely accidental. He didn't mean to. He is not a habitual seller to underage individuals, nor would he accept that he is by habit, or it is accidental. He had submitted that it is accidental. In retrospect and in hindsight, obviously, given what we're considering now, he fully accepts that he's, whether accidental or not, he's clearly made a mistake, and he's not looking to shy away from that. But at the time, during those sales, they were accidental.
Okay, thank you for that. But equally, at the same time, we've heard that there were a number of incidents in 2023. There was then a period of, should we say, compliance, as far as we know, and then things changed again earlier this year. So what happened for the change at the start of this year after, should we say, 18 months, 2 years, whatever it was, of compliance or apparent compliance?
Sorry, so I'm just waiting to see. Obviously, technology not being sat with your client live, if you like. I suppose, Mr. Singh, if you can hear us, could you potentially explain what happened at the start of this year and why potentially these incidents have come to light?
Hi, it's Tara Ram Singh.
No, sir.
I got a slip disc, so I wasn't in the shop. The guy was working some extra time. It's totally not acceptable. I need very sorry for that. It's done by accidentally and was happened with me with 23. But after that, I was perfect. I was always in the shop and I was looking very good. I give my 100%, and now still, please, if you guys can give me a time, I 100% I will be. That accident will never happen again.
Yes, but why did they happen this year after 2 years of not happening? What went wrong?
I got a slip disc. I was not well. I got the proof, everything. So that is the reason I couldn't go proper to the shop. This is what was happened. And the worker was perfectly trained, but I think I don't know he done by mistakenly or what, but it's not, it is totally accidentally.
Okay, thanks for that. In which case, I suppose the next question then is, if you couldn't get in there, and I appreciate I'm not saying anything about the fact that you couldn't get into the shop because of your medical problem, but you said there's another worker there who was perfectly trained. So can you tell me what training they had? Because if they were properly trained, then I need to know why they still didn't comply with the rules.
It's just mistakenly done mistake.
Yeah. Okay. What training did he have or she have?
I gave him a training because I had a training with Mr. Dowlow, and my son Manpreet Singh, he gave him a training fully, and he got experience. He was working somewhere else. He was fully experienced. So I'm going to be give him a training again if what they want. Any training what Mr. Of you guys whatever say, I will give him a full train again. And if they need a fully of personal license, I will give him a personal license, send him to perfect for the personal license even. And whatever training he needed, whatever you say, we will go ahead with you guys, whatever we accepted. And we apologize what was happened. It will never happen again.
Okay.
That was only accident.
Okay. Thank you very much. A couple of questions. I'm not sure who it's to, whether it's to Mr. Overton or whether it's Mr. Love or indeed Mr. Gardner. But looking at, you've done a number of inspections, including 2023 and later, and there have been a number of breaches. Has there been any official warning letters? I know there was a note that the police gave a verbal warning. Have there been any official warnings? And if so, how many?
Yes, Councillor, I might be able to help with that one. On the 17th of July, when we carried out an inspection, we left the inspection sheet, and that acted as a warning letter. And then on the most recently on the 23rd of July, an inspection was carried out, and an inspection sheet would have been left at the premises on that occasion as well, which would also acted as a warning letter. I know, I mean, I'll let Mr. Love obviously, update you in terms of I think there was a simple caution that was accepted by the license holder, but yeah, that's it in terms of the licensing side of things.
Would those two warning letters on the 17th and the 23rd of July, that you'd identified breaches at each point, had you? Just to
Correct.
be clear. Yeah.
That's correct. Yes. Yeah. There were breaches on both occasions. And there was also, I mean, there was another inspection on the 24th of August, but 2023, but there was one breach on that occasion. But again, an inspection sheet would have been left at the premises.
Okay, sorry, I'm misunderstanding this. The 17th and the 23rd of July, is that 23 or 25?
So it's the 17th of July 2023. A warning sheet was left there, which acts as an inspection sheet, which acts as a warning letter. And then, sorry, on the 24th of August 2023, another inspection was carried out. There was a breach of a condition, and an inspection sheet would have been left that acts as a warning letter. And then finally, on the 23rd of July 2025, there was another inspection sheet left at the premises.
But there was a warning again in 2025.
Correct. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So, Mr. Love, has there been any other warnings that you're aware of, verbal or otherwise?
After the 2023 incidents, the simple cautions that were signed by Manpreet, who was then the director, I think, of Sweet Food and Wines, and Tara Ram Singh, the premises license holder, only related to the underage sales. But I'm sure that the covering letter that I sent with those, that would have referred to the licensing breaches as well. I'm just trying to find a copy of it. Certainly they were discussed at the time in 2023, the importance of compliant with conditions, and it is part of the training course that Trading Standards offer that Tara Ram Singh and Manpreet Singh both attended.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. I don't think I've got any other questions.
Just to fill in on that, sorry, the letter that was sent in 2022, this was a letter which was proposing I think that should probably be 2023, but the one that was a cover letter for the simple cautions, also says regularly review your license conditions to ensure you are complying with them all, as the advice given.
Okay. Have there been any more recent, either this year? Because there's that period, as I say, of apparent compliance. Have there been any since then?
Not from trading.
The one that Mr. Overton's mentioned.
Yes, not from Trading Standards. The licensing team leave paperwork on the day, as he said. Trading Standards have obviously been investigating the offences, but we haven't issued sort of further guidance or warnings as part of that process.
Yeah. Sorry, Chair, just one final question on this. Given that, it's the nature of the shop, it's not just alcohol, it's some foodstuffs and stuff as well. The issue of when you were told that it was rodents that actually ate their way through the cabling, did that trigger any issues around health and safety, food hygiene standards and such like?
I think I can probably clarify that. We were told in the visit on the 23rd of July that the rodents weren't actually in the shop, but they were in the property above, and that the cables were between the ceiling and the floor. So as far as I know, there haven't been any adverse findings from environmental health colleagues.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Harcourt. I mean, I don't really have a huge amount to add to that, which my colleagues have asked before. But Mr. Telling, could you maybe let us know if you or Mr. Singh, how long has Mr. Singh worked in this industry?
Mr. Singh, the license holder, or Mr. Singh, the son potential new DPS license holder? Since 2012, sir.
2012. I struggle we said Mr. Singh will do extra training, and I struggle to think how someone who might have worked in the industry since 2012, how any sort of extra training can have difference. I mean, it surely would have had training beforehand, and I it's more of a comment, but I'm struggling here for someone that's worked so long in the industry. As Mr. Singh spoke earlier, I just want to make one final point before we sort of head to summing up, unless members have any questions. Is there anything that Mr. Singh would like to say directly, not through his representative, to Dr. Patterson and his family for what has happened?
I just need only one chance, last chance. It will never be happen again. And I'm totally responsibility for anything happen, because this is the only shop I have. And I have 4 kids. I mean 3 now, under 18. So I have to look everything. And I have my old mom, which is 67 years old. And please just try to give me last chance. That all I can say. And I really apologize. I never do that again. Never will be happen. If you guys just suggest me, I can change the top. I will bring what you guys just say. If you want any training, you guys tell me. I can send them to there to take that new course. Whatever you said, I will here to help. Whatever you guys, I accepted. Whatever you saying, I'm going to do the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, if there's no further questions, we can move to summing up. Please can the parties sum up in 3 minutes or less in the following order. So first of all, the licensing officer, Neil Gardner. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I have nothing to add from the original introduction. Thank you.
Thank you. The applicant, Doug Love from LBHF Trading Standards.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, an apology to Mr. Singh for identifying Satnam as his son rather than Manpreet. I knew they were related. I obviously got confused somewhere along the line, so apologies for that. I haven't really got much to add. I didn't follow entirely what Mr. Singh was saying about a different member of staff and the slipped disc. The 2 test purchases sales in 2023 were made by Mr. Singh. He was certainly in the shop. I can't definitely say he was the only person in the shop when the vodka was sold to Dr. Patterson's daughter, but he was definitely in the shop. That much is obvious from CCTV. And Satnam, his cousin, was the seller for the recent test purchase. So I don't see really where another member of staff comes into it. So I'm afraid my opinion hasn't changed. I think this license needs to be revoked. They have been trained before. They are very experienced. The only reason that this review didn't happen in 2023 was that Manpreet and Tara Ram attended my training, just seemed to understand fully what was required. Test purchases were done after that, and they were the test purchases were refused then. So how we got from there and getting the benefit of the doubt after a serious incident in 2023 to starting to sell again in 2025, I don't know. But I don't think it's a matter of a lack of training or anything that extra training would address. So as much as I hear Mr. Singh's pleas about it being a family business, and to be honest, that was part of the reason maybe why we didn't take stronger action in 2023, because I knew that it was a family business and 3 members of the family were actually employed in the shop. But I'm afraid the facts are facts, and if this license continues, I don't think children will be protected from harm. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Love. I would now turn to the responsible authorities. Adrian Overton from the licensing team.
Thank you, Chair. Just to point out initially that there is already a condition on the licence that mentions that a personal licence holder should be on duty whenever licensable activities take place. So, I'm not sure there could be a more restrictive condition in terms of, regulation of the sale of alcohol, that you could actually add to the licence. To be a personal licence holder, you have to pass the course, and you have to make sure that you've got the personal licence. So, obviously there always needs to be a DPS on the premises, and we've had issues with that in the past where there wasn't a DPS when we visited. I think overall, really, trust and confidence in the licence holder is completely broken down. And I think in terms of giving the licence holder another chance, we did that in 2023. And I'd be really concerned that if we gave the licence holder another chance, given what Dr. Patterson said about how unwell his daughter became, what might happen again, I'd just be very concerned about that. So I wouldn't be able to say anything else than just suggest that the licence should be revoked. I think, just in terms of whether the sales are an accident or not, I think the premises, as it's currently managed, is a danger to the community. And as I said, I think the licence should be revoked. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Overton. I would now like to ask Dr. Patterson if you would like to sum up in 3 minutes or less.
Thank you. This has been very interesting to see. And I just want to kind of reiterate, first of all, the impacts. Harm can happen to any child. It's just that maybe more harm happens to certain children than others. It's very difficult to tell from an initial interaction and an encounter, for example, what's going to happen when the person walks out of the door. Excuse me. So in terms of underage sales, not just of alcohol, but also of vapes too. There are kind of long-term situations, health situations, and short-term situations. I would hate, for my daughter or any other person, son or daughter of somebody else, to have to go through what I went through. It was truly, truly shocking, and shocking for my 10-year-old son to witness as well. So I think it's very difficult to tell, even if there's one lapse in the future, that this would not happen again. I would just like to reiterate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Patterson. And lastly, can I ask the licensee, the applicant, to sum up in 12 minutes or less.
Chair, thank you. Simply to reiterate that the licence holder understands and is incredibly apologetic for the events that have happened, not specifically in regards to the most serious incident, regards to Dr. Patterson's daughter, but obviously very specific that because that is horrific. No parent should have to go through that. And you heard from the licence holder that he himself has children. I'm not sure, Chair, that he quite understood the specificity of your question, but my instructions are that obviously he is incredibly apologetic in regards. We've heard from the responsible authorities that no conditions or no further training would suffice to ensure that this premises meets, complies and promotes the licensing objectives. We reiterate that we feel that further training and changes to management, day-to-day management, licensable activities would ensure that the premises is compliant and promotes the licensing objectives. Mr. Manpreet Singh, who holds a personal license, who hasn't worked in the premises since 2024, would undertake day-to-day management responsibility. And while I wholly accept the subcommittee's submission that it is our responsibility to suggest conditions, and Chair, you might give me for repeating myself in previous hearings, it's incredibly difficult for us to decide what you might think would suffice in terms of conditions. But if conditions were forthcoming from the local authority. License holder's instructions to myself are that we would engage and apply those. And while he is apologetic, while he appreciates that mistakes have happened since 2012 to 2023, there have been no issues with his licensable activities, his involvement in industry. Between those incidents in 23 and 25, there were no issues. However, he accepts that those issues in 23 and 25 are the reason he's here today. He accepts his responsibility, as you've heard. He asks that the local authority give him an opportunity to restructure premises, business, and ensure that going forward he is totally compliant with the licensing objectives, and that he can fully engage with responsible authorities and ensure that they are happy with the premises and how they're running. Other than that, unless there are any questions for the license holder, thank you all for your time.
Thank you. So if, the committee will now retire to take its decision in a separate meeting room. You are welcome to remain in the meeting to hear the committee's decision. However, this may take some time. If you don't want to wait, a summary decision will be published on the council's website tomorrow morning. So I can ask members to turn off the video, mute their microphones, and to join the private Teams meeting for deliberations. Thank you. Just give everyone a second to turn their cameras back on.
Yes, Chair, I am actually here, even though. Oh, there I am.
Perfect. Well, the committee has decided the following. So the London Borough of Hammersmith and Fulham, the summary decision of the licensing subcommittee, otherwise known as the committee, on the 12th of November 2025 in relation to best quality food and wine, 333 to 335 Lily Road, London, SW6 7NR, otherwise known as the premises. The committee has considered an application from the council's trading standards team for a review of a premises license under the Licensing Act 2003, otherwise known as the application. In summary, the committee has decided, after taking into account all of the individual circumstances of the case and the promotion of the 4 licensing objectives, to revoke the license. A copy of this committee's full decision, including its reasons, will be sent to the parties forthwith. If any party is unhappy with the decision, they are entitled to appeal to the Magistrates' Court within 21 days from the date of notification of the full decision, which is the decision of the Licensing Subcommittee on the 12th of November 2025. I'd like to thank everyone for attending or watching tonight's meeting, and just remind you, a summary decision will be published on the council's website tomorrow. So yeah, have good evenings. Thank you.